Speaking of Tebow, people not in the media often like to lecture me on how to do media. I mean, I didn't tell my doctor how to do my proctology exam. I don't tell a landscaper how to landscape. I don't walk into a restaurant and tell the cook how to cook. They like to say, why do you waste your time on Tebow? And I like to respond, why do you waste your time asking me? I talk Tebow because he's newsworthy. No, he's not. There you go lecturing again. We have a handful of people in news who, whenever they do anything, we talk about it. Athletes, politicians, TV stars, singers. And when they do something big, like return to the NFL, reunite with your legendary college coach who's now coaching in the NFL, yeah, that's what we call newsworthy. Listen, when Kanye West said he was running for president and starting an actual campaign, we're going to talk about it because we look at the Google numbers and you're interested. Jake Paul, YouTuber, I'm going to fight. Then he keeps winning fights. And then his pay-per-view numbers are substantial. That tells us that you're interested. Before Donald Trump ran for president, he was newsworthy. Divorces, controversies, bankruptcies, successes. He wasn't newsworthy? All you conservatives, if it wasn't for the media talking about a candidate nobody gave a shot to, he wouldn't have been president. Do you know that in 2019, the most Googled person was an athlete? No, it wasn't Tom Brady or Tiger Woods. It was Antonio Brown. When people say Tebow's not going to be a super important player, it's not always the best or most important player that you find newsworthy. In 2015, the most Googled person was an athlete. It wasn't LeBron or Roger Federer. It was Lamar Odom. You made him newsworthy. Newsworthiness is a business, and there are a handful of people out there in different sectors that drive interest. Virtually nobody can name the fourth tight end on the Jaguars depth chart. Most people can only name a handful of people on the entire Jags roster. We all know Tebow because he's interesting. Don't blame me for talking about him. Blame him. If Tebow had more self-awareness and understood that, leaving a sport for nearly a decade and then coming back to try a new position is really kind of silly, I wouldn't have talked about him. I was done talking about him. In fact, years ago at the end of his NFL career, I said he probably should go give the CFL a try. He really fits that style. I was told Tebow laughed at such a suggestion. Don't kid yourself. This is business and this is ego. He's a human being. Humble at times, very much driven by the brand of Tebow, which pays him well other times. Listen, the only reason you're upset that I talk Tebow because you don't like the way it ended. People always say that. I don't like you talking Tebow. Let me ask you, if he'd have made the team, should I have ignored it? Interesting. Colin, stick to sports. I always hear that from conservatives because I tend to kind of lean left on social issues. Stick to sports. And then once I put Will Cain on my podcast, I got nothing but credit. Tip of the cap, my man. Loved that podcast. You like politics from me when you agree with them. I talk Tebow because I find him interesting. I was done talking Tim Tebow. If Tim Tebow never tries to be a pro athlete again, I don't think I'll ever talk about him. But he's interested sometimes in himself and his impractical dreams. When he wants to stop, I'll stop.